Good evening, friends. Welcome to Education So Simple. I am Vipul Kumar, business consultant working with a team of the chartered accountant, company secretary, and lawyers. Today, I am taking topic taxation of the BPO units in India. In last video, we understand double taxation avoidance agreement, and in business consultancy, there is understanding the business of the BPO units and concept of the BPO business, that is a strategy of the outsourcing. Today, I am taking taxation of BPO units in India. In last decade, there are many BPO units set up in India, and there is huge potential in coming years for BPO business in India. So let's check the provision of the BPO units in India, how the permanent establishment concept is established. Is there a taxability? What are the criteria of the taxability? How much expenses allowed for BPO units in India? What are the principles applied for taxability of BPO units in India? Dear friend, the provision of taxation of IT-enabled business process outsourcing units are not contained in the Income Tax Act, but given in a circular issued by CBDT in 2004, circular number 5/2004. This contains the provision, gives guidelines how BPO IT-enabled business process outsourcing units are taxable in India. Let's check the circular number 5/2004. First of all, when a non-resident has a no business connection between the two resident entity, in that case, resident entity may not be a permanent establishment. And resident entity, in that case, be assessed to income tax as a separate entity. In such case, non-resident entity will not be liable under the Income Tax Act 1961. We check business connection. If there is a business connection, or if there is no business connection. In case of that, there is no business connection between the two, the resident entity may not be the permanent establishment. That's why non-resident entity will not be taxable under the provision of the Income Tax Act. Second, if there is a possibility that non-resident entity may have a business connection with a resident Indian entity, in that case, resident Indian entity could be treated as permanent establishment of the non-resident entity. The non-resident entity or foreign company will be liable to tax in India only if the IT-enabled BPO unit in India constitutes its permanent establishment. In last class, we understand the concept of the permanent establishment. What is the permanent establishment? How is constitute permanent establishment? Article 5(1) defines the concept of permanent establishment under DTA, a Model Tax Convention. So, if there is a permanent establishment, that IT-enabled BPO units has a permanent establishment, then only foreign company or non-resident entity will be taxable in India. A non-resident or foreign company is treated as having a permanent establishment in India if the said non-resident or foreign company carries on the business in India through a branch, sales office, etc., or through an agent other than independent agent who habitually exercises an authority to conclude contracts or regularly delivers goods or merchandise or habitually secures order on behalf of the non-resident principal. In that case, profits of the non-resident or foreign company attributable to the business activities carried out in India by permanent establishment become taxable in India. It means if a non-resident of foreign company is treated as the permanent establishment in India, if a non-resident or foreign company carries on business in India through branch or sales office or through an agent, except or other than independent agent, who habitually exercise an authority to conclude contracts or regularly deliver goods or merchandise or habitually secures order on behalf of the non-resident principal. That is, there is established a business connection. If there is a business connection, there is the constitution as the permanent establishment, and profits of the non-resident or foreign company attributable to the business activities carried out in India by permanent establishment become taxable in India. If foreign enterprise carries on a business in another country through a permanent establishment situated therein, the profit of the enterprise may be taxed in the other country, but only so much of them as is attributable to the permanent establishment. Under this clarification, if a foreign enterprise carries on business in another country through a permanent establishment situated therein, in that case, profit of the enterprise may be taxed in other country, but only so much of them as is attributable to the permanent establishment. Profits are to be attributed to permanent establishments as if it were a distinct and separate enterprises, engaged in the same or similar activities under the same or similar condition and dealing wholly independently with the enterprise of which it is a permanent establishment. It means profit attributed to permanent establishment as if it were treated as distinct and separate enterprises, engaged in same or similar activities under same or similar condition and dealing with a wholly independently with the enterprises of this is PE. In determining the profits of a permanent establishment shall be allowed as a deduction expenses which are incurred for the purposes of the permanent establishments. Expenses which are incurred for the purposes of the permanent establishment, including executive and general administrative expenses so incurred whether in the state in which PE is situated or elsewhere. It means the expenses incurred for the purpose of PE, but it's including executive and general administrative expenses so incurred in India or outside India, because general administrative expenses is a common management administrative expenses, but that relate to the permanent establishment situated in India or elsewhere is allowed as expenses. Next thing is expenses which is deductible would have been determined in accordance with the accepted principle of the accountancy and provision of the Income Tax Act 1961. So first of all, how much expenses allowed? Expenses which is attributable incurred for the purpose of the permanent establishment, including general administrative expenses incurred in a state in which it is situated or elsewhere, and expenses determined as per the accepted principle of the accountancy or Income Tax Act 1961. The profit to be attributed to PE are those which that PE would be have made if instead of dealing with its head office, it had been dealing with entirely separate enterprise under condition and at prices prevailing in the ordinary market. This corresponds to the arm's length principle. Means profit which is attributed to permanent establishment would be if permanent establishment instead of dealing with its head office, it had been dealing with entirely separate enterprises under condition of prices prevailing in the ordinary market. This means correspond to the arm's length principle. And in determining profit attributable to the IT-enabled BPO unit constituting a PE, it will be necessary to determine the price of the services rendered by the PE to head office or by head office to PE on the basis of the arm's length principle. This is calculated on the basis of the arm's length principle. So these are criteria. On that criteria, on the basis of that criteria, BPO units in India is taxable in India. So follow this criteria. In last video, we discussed DTA provisions, and in business consultancy, we see business strategy outsourcing. There is a link, also link given in a YouTube channel. You click the link and understand the business strategy outsourcing concept, understanding the BPO business in India. After Corona, outsourcing business is in a boom in India because shifting of the BPO business or units from China to India, there is a huge possibility. Let's we understand the concept of the taxability of the BPO business in India. Dear friend, in case of any doubts regarding this clarification, you may drop your query at RSBK Educational Services @gmail.com or drop in comments box. We will try to give your best clarification or advice as per the existing law of India, and this will be updated from time to time for the benefit of the businesses or foreign entity or NRI who is planning to set business processing outsourcing units in India. And this video is very useful for the professionals who is giving advice in the area of the international taxation, and students of chartered accountant, company secretary, CMA, and lawyers who are at the final level and recapitulating the concept, understanding the concept in a very short time period. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please subscribe this channel for latest update in the area of the FEMA and international taxation. Thank you so much.